on what legitimately is the biggest stage in the world, at least when it comes to people tuning in, and we're talking about the World Cup. As we all know, the World Cup, viewers, for some inexplicable reason is being held in winter in the Northern Hemisphere and in Qatar. Exceptions have been made, rules have been bent, and now it appears, and this is what's so worrying, that even principles are being abandoned. Viewers, we are always told that sports is the ultimate tool for diplomacy. You put your best foot forward. You only have to hear how Indian liberals promote the cause, for example, of Indo-Pak cricketing ties. They always say, don't let politics get in the way, because the principle matters more. Sport is unifying. And under the rubric of that, sports can be a great channel to engage. Well, viewers, today the opposite is happening. The world is giving Qatar a wide berth. Western leftists have totally abandoned their principles. They have accepted that Qatar is justified to prosecute LGBTs attending the World Cup. Qatar says holding hands in public is not an offense. But viewers, you know how that goes. There will always be somebody from the ubiquitous moral police that will jump the gun. His sensitivities will be so outraged that there might be incarceration or all sorts of humiliation and worse directed towards the unsuspecting couple. Viewers, in Iran, a woman who had her head covered but had only a strand of hair exposed was beaten to death. What use are these guarantees that if you are found holding hands, you will not be prosecuted under Qatari law? Viewers, we all know that in Islam, homosexuality is considered a grave sin. And who is to say, viewers, some zealot might be so moved as to take some action? Here in India, the ecosystem is deathly quiet too. Have you seen any of the leftists standing up and objecting about this? No. Even though they took the knee for Dalits supposedly facing discrimination here in India under what they call is a repressive Hindu nationalist BJP government. When an American black citizen was killed, viewers, Black Lives Matter protests emerged out of nowhere. People were taking the knees even on football grounds, cricket grounds. Indian cricket team also took the knee. But viewers, here a large number of Indians from the left ecosystem took the knee for Dalits, saying that even Dalit lives matter in this country, so we must take the knee. But today, viewers, no one is taking the knee in Qatar for LGBTs. But it's not LGBT rights that are our concern today at this moment. Of course, we are worried about how LGBTs are going to be treated in Qatar. And one is very distressed that any number of horrors can visit upon them. But today, viewers, we're just setting that aside. We are worried about how Qatar is being allowed to walk all over Hindu sentiments. Times Now has accessed visuals of fugitive Hindu baiting, hate-mongering preacher Zakir Naik in Qatar. He's on stage. And guess what this absolute communalist is doing? He's converting people. He's giving lectures on peace, on why the rest of humanity should give up its apostasy and join Islam. He's being allowed to do all of this, viewers. He's continuing his tirade against other religions, and remember, he's wanted here in India. I'll tell you the reasons why, and you'll be appalled to know. But right now, viewers, he's there in Qatar, supposedly on the invitation of the Qatar government, if you please, to lecture the people on the sidelines of the World Cup. This disregard for Hindi sentiments is from the same Qatar government that called our ambassador and gave him a dressing down over Nupur Sharma's comments on the Prophet that upset Muslims. There is no reciprocity. Viewers, it's really sad. It's really sad that this has been allowed to happen. Even the Indian government, let me tell you, viewers, has not put pressure on the Qatar government either to revoke this man's invite, send him packing back to Indonesia or Malaysia or wherever he's come from, or then hand him over. The even greater tragedy, however, is that here in India, progressive Muslims, left intellectuals, and self-styled secular politicians aren't condemning Qatar for inviting Zakir Naik. When you ask them, what do you have to say about this? They very cleverly deflect. They skirt the question and they say, well, Qatar is a foreign country, what can we do about it? The same Qatar they supported, viewers, for pulling up our government over Nupur. I'm not saying they were wrong, but then there should be some consistency. Today, when the shoe is on the other foot, when Qatar is disrespecting Hindu sentiments, why is everyone quiet? Is this because they don't think that Zakir is an anti-Hindu hate monger? Is that what it is? Or is there Hindu phobia, viewers, getting the better of them? I hope not. But I'm mystified by the silence. If confirmation was needed, then here it is, viewers. Listen to why this person needs to be opposed. Listen to this so-called religious preacher rubbishing every religion and calling upon a ban on the construction of Hindu temples in Islamic nations. This man, in any other language, would be called a bigot. But clearly, viewers, he's an ambassador of the faith for the Qatar government. And quite clearly, from the silence, from the ecosystem, from opposition parties, he's probably an ambassador of the faith for them too. But first, listen to Zakir Naik and his disgusting comments in the past. This is a man, viewers, who's even rationalized sex slavery. This is the man and this is the mindset. Listen in.
But there are other scholars like Sheikh Salman Auda, he is mashallah one of the great scholars of this time. He says that if under normal circumstances it's haram, but if the situation demands, like in Palestine, every day they are being killed and thousands are being killed throughout the year, so it is rather that they have to fight in self-defense, and if they know that they use an attack in which the chances of dying are there, and if they really cause a damage to the opponent, as a last resort, with guidance from a scholar who has not that one individual person gets up in the night and says, okay, fine, I'll go out. So with guidance of the Quran and Sunnah, as a last resort, it can be used. As a last resort, it can be used, and I do agree with Sheikh Salman Auda. Hope that answers the question.
सिर्फ एक ही सही दिन है, वो है इस्लाम. और अल्लाह ताला फरमाते हैं सूरह इमरान सूरह नंबर 3 आयत नंबर 85 में क्या इस्लाम के अलावा कोई भी दिगर मज़हब अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला कबूल नहीं करेंगे. तो दीन के मामले में हम जानते हैं इस्लाम ही सिर्फ सही दीन है, इसीलिए हम दूसरे दीन का प्रोपगेशन अलाउ नहीं करते. जहां तक कि दूसरा सवाल है कि हम चर्च बनाने देंगे या टेम्पल बनाने देंगे, जब दीन ही गलत है और चर्च में ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम को पूजना गलत है, बुत परस्ती गलत है, इसीलिए हम गलत चीज हमारे मुल्क में अलाउ नहीं करेंगे.
If he's on the truth, if he's fighting the enemies of Islam, I'm for him. If he's terrorizing America, the terrorist, biggest terrorist, I'm with him. Every Muslim should be a terrorist.
Every Muslim should be a terrorist. No churches and temples should be built ever on Muslim lands. He rationalizes suicide bombings. In India, viewers, he is wanted for encouraging feelings of enmity and hatred. I'm quoting straight out of the charge sheets, the cases that have been filed against him by agencies here. And as per the Gazette notification that banned his organization, the IRF, in this country, Naik is extolling known terrorists in his speeches. Naik justified suicide bombings in his speeches. You heard that very clearly. Acts of IRF highly inflammatory in nature, such divisive ideology against India's secular fabric. These are all the reasons. Promoting forcible conversion of youth to Islam. Because he's even doing it on that stage right there. Four youth who attended the World Cup have been converted. But viewers, here in this country, you have politicians who'd rather look away. They will not condemn either Qatar or this man for his views. Listen in.
ये तो कतर की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन बताएगी कि उन्होंने आखिर क्यों किया, क्योंकि ना तो इंडियन टीम वहां खेल रही है और ना हमारा उससे कोई लेना देना है। हम तो ये बता सकते हैं कि बाबा भीमराव अंबेडकर साहब के संविधान की अवहेलना कौन कौन कर रहा है, उसका नाम भी बता देंगे, उसका काम भी बता देंगे।
अब ये तो एक पॉलिटिकल इशू है कि कतर देगा उसको या नहीं देगा, मगर अगर उनको उसको बुलाया है और वो लेजिटिमेट रीज़न से अपना वीज़ा पासपोर्ट सब उनके पास है, उसके बिना के ऊपर ट्रैवल कर सकते हैं, तो सरकार एट गवर्नमेंट लेवल उनके साथ बात करे अगर उनको तकलीफ है।
मुझे क्या कहना होगा, मैं तो फुटबॉल देख रहा हूं। जो लोग जाकिर नायक को देख रहे हैं वो देखते रहे, हम फुटबॉल देख रहे हैं।
हम फुटबॉल देख रहे हैं। Viewers, let me open this up. Let's ask some of the others if they are also watching only the football and not, viewers, the dropping of principles to such an extent that today hate is getting a stage, and hate directed against Hindus, hate that eulogizes terror, urges Indian Muslims to pick up the gun, etc., etc. We all know, because viewers, in the past, several individuals from the subcontinent who have turned to terrorism have claimed that they did so only after listening to Zakir Naik. I want to open this up, viewers, and I want to ask some basic questions. Rasheed Khan, Congress leader, is here with us. We also have with us Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. Ratan Sharda, Karan Verma, Jay Sai, Deepak, advocate. Viewers, let me first begin with Rasheed Khan. Mr. Khan, will you condemn both Qatar and Zakir Naik? Qatar for giving him a stage and Zakir Naik for his views. First things first.
Sir, Zakir Naik is an Islamic scholar and a master of comparative religious studies.
Right.
And for the first time, Qatar is hosting FIFA 2022 Football World Cup. And it's Qatar's decision, it's their law and order and protocol to call Zakir Naik for lectures and to promote Islam, the real message of Islam. So we don't have any issue as long as Zakir Naik is promoting Islam in the righteous way. So
you have no issue.
We surely condemn.
So let me ask you.
Anyone who is anti-national.
Okay.
Just a sec.
Is he anti-national?
We surely condemn anyone
is
who
Zakir
is
Naik anti-national
and disturbs Indian harmony and peace.
Okay.
Peace. So, let the court decide this thing.
Oh, let the court decide.
Serious allegation by NIA and ED has been framed against Zakir Naik.
Okay.
Let the law take its course.
Okay.
Let the court decide.
Let the court decide.
But as
should I read out 16/11/2001?
in the righteous way, we welcome that message.
Okay, Rashid Saab, I wish you had given so
and
many allowances.
Thing,
one minute. No, one second.
Sir,
no.
Sir,
Now don't, please. Don't. One at a time. One at a time. We're not running away, sir. We're not running away. And you're not a preacher. So let's, maintain a certain degree of decorum. Let's speak not over each other, but one after the other. In the speech delivered on 16/11/2001, now we are being told, viewers, let the court decide. These are the same people who didn't want the court to decide on Nupur Sharma. Nupur Sharma hurt a large number of Muslim sentiments, and they said, a large number of these politicians said, hang her from a lamppost. Sartan se juda. Those who spoke up for Nupur Sharma, at least two individuals, have been beheaded. Excuse me, let me finish. Sir, I haven't interrupted you. I never stopped you. Let me have my two little bits. Now, viewers, in a speech delivered on 16/11/2001, this chap, Zakir Naik, I'm not going to call him doctor or whatever, he made objectionable comments against Lord Ganesha, which he reproduced as under. If any of my Hindu friends call me for a puja, it is a common puja in Mumbai, Ganesh Chaturthi. Have you heard about Ganesha Chaturthi? Yes, my Hindu friend who knows about Ganpati would call me and would give me prasad. Yes. At that time I would ask him, who is this Ganpati? On that my friend would say me that this Ganpati is the son of Lord Shiva. Then he would tell me, one day Shiva went out. At that time his wife Parvati removed dirt from her body, and from that she created a son and called him to stand at the door. I am taking rest, and hence do not allow anybody to enter the house. After some days Shiva returned back to the home and was entering the house. At that time son stopped him and said that my mother is taking rest, so you cannot enter in the house. Shiva got furious and cut down his head from the body. Here I would ask question to my Hindu friend. When your God is not identifying his son, then how would identify me when I am in trouble? That's what he says, viewers. Sai Deepak, I need to bring you in on this. You're an advocate. For a moment, let's look at this remark in isolation. A large number of people were very upset when this remark was made. It created an outrage. But Zakir Naik said, no, this is my belief. Why is he usually held in a different regard by people perhaps like Atikur Rahman, then others who have said similar things to him, even about the Prophet and Islam? Why are they berated? Can't understand this.
So Rahul ji, my fundamental disagreement with your position, allow me to say this with a lot of respect for your work, is that Dr. Zakir Naik is not a bigot. He is a practicing Muslim. Therefore, he is candidly presenting his views as a Muslim, which finds acceptance in a significant cross-section of the Muslim population, and it also finds acceptance and endorsement from an avowedly Islamic state, which has Islam as its state religion, and which, knowing fully well that these are his views and these are his contributions to religious peace and harmony in Bharat, has chosen to welcome him to such a global event. Now, apart from the fact that it perhaps represents a resounding slap on the face of the Indian state, which went out of its way to throw a respectable lady under the bus without giving her an opportunity to prove her position before a court of law, which apparently Zakir Naik is entitled to, but Nupur Sharma is not entitled to. I think it's for the Indian state to ask itself, why does it choose to mollycoddle and pamper such sentiments when countries such as Qatar seem to have the confidence to hold on to their position and walk their talk and have the courage of their conviction to speak their mind? Qatar is not to be blamed. Mr. Rashid is not to be blamed. Zakir Naik is not to be blamed, because they are doing what they believe is right in accordance with their belief systems and faith systems. That is their position. Now the problem is, Bharat is obviously stuck in a neutral mode, which is neither here nor there, and therefore doesn't have the ability to take a confident position, and therefore its constant approach to such issues is appeasement, both domestically and internationally. So I stand by the fact that Zakir Naik is not a bigot. He is not seen as a bigot by most members of his community. He is not seen as a bigot by members of the left. And perhaps there is some truth to it, because he is after all only purveying and propagating the beliefs that he is a trained master of. Is he the only person to represent those beliefs? No. He is merely the torchbearer of this particular belief in a long line of such preachers. So why do we go after Zakir Naik as an individual, when the fact of the matter is, the belief system that he represents and the mindset that he represents finds purchase in over 2 billion people across the globe, or at least 1.5 billion across the globe? Now that is a question for us as a society and a state to answer. There is no point in asking for any kind of symmetry between Zakir Naik and Nupur Sharma, because Nupur Sharma should not and cannot be compared with Zakir Naik. She is not a religious preacher. She did not go out of her way to provoke or hurt anybody's sentiments. She was responding to an offensive comment made on your channel, on your show, with respect to a Hindu place of worship. So I will not for a moment compare both of them. Nupur Sharma is far more respectable and her position is far more tenable. And the other side's position is not rooted in the constitution, it is rooted in their belief systems. Because according to them, their belief systems must prevail over any man-made book. Okay. And since the constitution is a man-made book, it cannot effectively prevail over the revelation of their God, period.
Okay. Your views, Mr. Sai Deepak, expressed with candor as usual. Whether I agree with them or not is immaterial. Viewers, these are Sai Deepak's unapologetic views. And let me now bounce them off Atikur Rahman. Professor Rahman, are you not opposed to Mr. Zakir Naik because he only quotes and preaches what is revealed? So why should you be upset? Am I right to assume this? Because that's what J. Sai Deepak is saying. I'm wasting my time.
Well, Rahul, the blunders committed by Dr. Zakir Naik in India, I think he had been partly punished for it.
How?
His organization stands banned.
Partly
His properties
punished?
have been taken away by the ED, by the investigating agencies. And the part punishment will come whenever he lands in India or he is brought by the Indian government back to India. I appeal to Dr. Zakir Naik, if he has the slightest love for the Muslims of India, he should, rather than going back to Indonesia or Malaysia, wherever he is reside, he should come back to India, face the music of law, and then the faith which Indian Muslims and the Mumbai Muslims in particular had for him can be restored. Otherwise, no. He has no room. If he is critical of the Hindu gods and goddesses, he has no room if he criticizes the other faiths. Because my Quran, my Allah says that whoever do not revile the other faith,
so
do not revile the other gods,
so Professor Rahman,
your gods are reviled.
That's wonderful sentimentality from your side. I want to ask you, Professor Rahman, very clearly then, as a responsible member of the international community, or at least one that pretends to be, should Qatar give space to Zakir Naik? Very simple. If Qatar believes that all individuals on this planet must respect the sentiments of others, why is it giving this man a visa, space, recognition and a stage?
Rahul, I believe Qatar is within its rights to invite Dr. Zakir Naik. If Dr. Zakir Naik repeats the offences against any religion, then we can complain.
No, why? No, hang on.
A very important
one second.
point
You have just contradicted yourself, Professor Shah. You have just contradicted yourself. Are Indian Hindus not worthy of any sympathy if Qatari Muslims can be offended, and if our ambassador can be summoned by the Qatari government and given a lecture, I agree. The Indian government should be doing the same with Qatar tonight. And let me tell you, viewers, if it hasn't happened, it only hasn't happened because of some extraneous, absolute extraneous considerations. So there is no excuse for not summoning the Qatar ambassador and telling him, what are you up to? How dare you insult a billion
Rahul,
Hindus?
I would like to...
No, I want to come back to you because you are not taking a position. You've left it very artfully, oh, it's up to the Qatar government. But the Qatar government said that if you insult Muslims, we will not have diplomatic relations with you, because it was so mindful of the sensitivities of one people. Why can't it be mindful of the sensitivities of a major trading bloc partner like India and of Indians who are in Qatar, who have actually made it possible for Qatar to organize a World Cup? Is that asking too much? And therefore I'm asking, why don't you come out and condemn Qatar for inviting Zakir Naik, who has baited Indian Hindus? Simple question.
Yeah. Rahul, for your kind information, I had supported Nupur Sharma.
I don't care about that.
And I had requested
I don't care about that because people like J. Sai Deepak... No, 1 second. Don't try to...
Now,
1 minute.
Is pardonable.
People like J. Sai Deepak are saying there is no equivalence here.
You are not allowing me to complete.
No. You tell me. Do you condemn Qatar? Do you condemn Qatar for inviting Zakir Naik? It's a very straightforward question, sir. Please answer it in a straightforward way.
As I demanded pardon for Nupur Sharma, I demand another chance to Dr. Zakir Naik. If he repeats the offense, then you condemn him.
Oh my God. So, you don't mind another country hosting an individual who has denigrated Hindus. Ratan Sharda, what do you make of this? I'm not understanding this at all.
See, Rahul, first of all, the Congress person said, let the courts decide. When somebody insulting my gods, when somebody insulting my religion, why should I wait for the court's orders? He's straight away saying that you have no right to exist in an Islamic state. He straight away says you have no right to have your own way of worship in an Islamic state. He straight away, like a supremacist, calls every other religion as false. So why should I wait for the courts? Secondly, Atikur Rahman ji talked about Dubara galti nahi karega. Do you remember, has Zakir Naik ever after being thrown out of India or even during stay in India said that what I have done is a mistake? He has not. Like Sai Deepak has said, it's his very firm commitment. The radical, the ultimate truth of Sunni Muslim or Salafist or Wahhabi is the true Islam. So he has not even apologized. So why does Mr. Atikur Rahman feel that he will not make a mistake again? For him, it's not a mistake. Now let us not narrow down this particular debate to only India and Hindus. First of all, the hypocrisy of the entire Qatar game is that they created havoc along with their media arm Al Jazeera in the name of Nupur Sharma and created havoc with Indian peace and created unrest in India. For the same thing which Zakir Naik says. Exact same quote when Zakir Naik says he becomes an Islamic scholar. When Nupur Sharma quotes, she is worthy of Sar Tan Se Juda. So that is the hypocrisy I'm pointing out. And look at the hypocrisy. They have banned beer, but one of their major promoters is a beer manufacturer. Look at the hypocrisy of Western world, that human rights were violated for nearly a decade to create Doha and Qatar into what they are today, with the sweat and blood of labor there, where nearly allegedly 300 people died in the horrible conditions of labor there. Nobody has spoken of. And leave about what they are doing with, talking about Hindus. Zakir Naik does not have any respect for any religion. So people of the world over come to football, to play football. They belong to all the faiths. But here they call Zakir Naik on a high pulpit of football, for international football, to tell people how the religion is wrong. So are we saying that it is an Islamic football cup, or are we saying it's a World Cup? So by using this World Cup to propagate supremacist extreme view of Islam, What is Qatar giving what message is Qatar giving out? Is it giving out a Qatar that I'd give a damn because I'm sitting on a heap of natural gas and I can blackmail the Western world? Are Western world so bereft of morality, of ethics, or self-respect that they will insult their religion, they will insult their civilization using Zakir Naik, and their people will just play game?
Let me tell you, sir,
what he said.
You hit the nail on the head.
The problem is when RJD MP says, "Hum to football dekh rahe hain," that is the problem.
Yes.
That is the problem, that if forget about every other issue, you just want to have fun. So people will go themselves, persecute themselves, insult themselves, gays will be thrown into jails, but they just want to enjoy football.
Now let me tell you, viewers.
Only senseless enjoyment. This is the problem with the politicians.
This man, Zakir Naik.
May I add something, Rahul?
No, 1 second, sir. Please don't add. Please don't add. Nothing you're going to add will make sense here. I want to bring in Rasheed Khan. I'll come back to you in just 30 seconds with a counter question. Sir, Rasheed Khan Saab, and I want to bring in also Mr. Karan Verma now. Rasheed Khan Saab, when I spoke to you, you said that, you see, let the courts decide whether Zakir Khan
is going on over there.
Okay, 1 second.
Just a second, Rahul. Azhar is going on over there.
Where?
So?
Azhar is going on over there.
Where? I can't hear anything. In your house?
No.
Okay, so 1 second. Court should decide.
No.
Court should decide.
So go offer namaz, sir. Don't disturb us.
Courts should decide, you said, about Zakir Naik. And only then, once he is held guilty, are you ready to condemn anyone else for giving him a platform? So then let me ask you. Then will you, since you believe in courts, will you condemn all of those?
Right now.
No, let me finish. Will you at least condemn all of those? Forget about Qatar. Chalo, theek hai. Aapse nahi hota.
Sure.
But can I ask you, since you believe in courts, will you condemn all of those who hit the streets and chant Sartan se juda slogans? Because clearly that is not in line with Indian law. Will you condemn them? Will you condemn them?
Let the law take its own course.
No, I'm asking you a question. Will you condemn the Sartan se juda brigade who want to take the law in their own hands? Since you believe that court is so important, in the Nupur Sharma case, will you condemn all of those who have gone out there and perpetrated religious violence by beheading those who have supported Nupur Sharma? Simple question.
No.
Instant justice for Nupur Sharma and courts for Mr. Zakir Naik
makes derogatory remark against our prophet, we have zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
Just because
so the law doesn't count. So the law doesn't count. So the law, are we empowering today? Are we today empowering vigilantism?
Then only people.
Viewers, 1 second. 1 second. Let me tell you. I am going to lower Rasheed Khan's... One second. Don't shout. 1 minute. I am going to lower Rasheed Khan's audio. Because viewers, he has used this platform tonight to rationalize vigilante, religious, retributive violence. Tomorrow, there will be a bunch of Hindu Gaurakshaks who will hit the streets and they will say that something fundamental to our faith has been violated. And let us also exercise our own will and our own writ, forget the courts, and dispense instant justice. Karan Verma, how dangerous is this Congress leader Rasheed Khan? How does the Congress have an individual like this in their ranks? I'm frightened tonight. Karan Verma.
Rahul, are you surprised? Because I am not. I am not surprised. You know, Zakir Naik, Qatar, individuals like Rasheed Khan, they have worn their badge of Islamic supremacy as a badge of honor. They are very clear about it. They tell you on your face कि आप लोग भटके हुए हो, and they quote chapter 98 verse number 6 that non-Muslims are the worst of all human beings. They quote it on your face. Atikur Rahman Saab was saying, if Zakir Naik repeats an offense, he repeats it every single moment of the day. He quotes chapter 4 verse number 48 where he says idol worshippers will burn in hell. They will never be given Jannah no matter what good they do in their lifetime. So they wear it as a badge of honor. And Qatar, let's face it, Rahul, They called the Indian ambassador and said, "Hamare bare mein aap kuch nahi keh sakte." At the same time, we can always say that your religion, all your religions, they teach 2 + 2 is equal to 5. So you all are inherently wrong. It is for us now to realize and wake up from this slumber, and more than us, it is the international community that needs to wake up. Ummah is united. They were united when Emmanuel Macron said something. They came out in large numbers and said we'll boycott French products. They were united when Nupur Sharma just quoted the hadiths. They were united and they said, "Bhai, we'll take off the Indian products from our shelves," whether it was Kuwait or Qatar. How is the international community allowing this to happen? They need to wake up and understand that radical Islam is the single biggest existential threat to this planet, and it will raise its ugly head at every sphere, whether it's a cultural arena or a sports arena. Till they don't realize it, people like Zakir Naik and Qatar, they can get away with murder for all they care, and they care a damn about our sentiments. We need to understand this.
Professor Atikur Rahman, I hope you at least don't espouse vigilantism like Rasheed Khan has tonight. At least redeem yourself on this one aspect by criticizing your brother Rasheed Khan tonight on this show and supporting your other brothers on this show.
Rahul, this is not the first time I am facing this question. All the people who chanted Sir Tan Se Juda are not only the enemies of Islam, but they are the enemies of humanity. Islam stands for peace, Rahul. The orthodox elements within Islam, whether it is Dr. Zakir Naik or any of the fundamentalists,
so why is Rasheed Khan
Islam just for their
So will you respond, Rasheed Khan, to Atikur Rahman tonight? He is saying to you, anyone who chants Sar Tan Se Juda is an enemy of Islam. Now you tell me, is Atikur Rahman also wrong?
Yes, sir. Islam is a religion of peace and harmony. Islam does not promote terrorism, does not promote anyone to kill anyone. I know it very well.
Sir, you are then
I am a perfect
yourself.
Muslim and a true Muslim. I know my holy Quran and my religion. But I said I do respect my Indian secularism as well as my constitution. I know it very well. You are talking about those slogans. Why are people chanting those slogans on the road? Just because, and this is not that any
Sir, I'm not talking
slogan.
about just
those
slogans that have been chanted. Sar Tan Se Juda slogans have been used and people have been beheaded. Do you condemn them? Rasheed Khan, do you condemn them?
Rashid Sahab,
it's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
No ifs and
yes,
buts.
sir, it's absolutely wrong. We condemn those slogans. I surely condemn those
Thank
slogans.
goodness.
Rashid
But
Sahab,
you need to understand that we should
No, there's no
respect each
understanding.
other.
There's no need to understand anything. Thank goodness. At least this man, because of the urgings
Rahul,
of Mr. Rahman, has at least walked back on this.
No.
I couldn't believe it for a moment when I heard him rationalizing those slogans.
Well, how to
I'm glad, sir. I'm glad. Now I'm asking you. So now I'm asking you. Now I'm asking you. Now I'm asking you.
Promoting those slogans.
Rashid bhai,
I'm not promoting their slogans. We need to respect each other's religion.
Of course. Now tell me, since you have said these words, okay, since you have said these words, and your Hindu brothers on this show, Sai Deepak Saab, Karan Verma Saab, Ratan Sharda Saab, might feel that what Zakir Naik has been saying about Hindus is offensive. Will you say on just that one account, because your Hindu brothers have today objected to his statements, Rasheed Khan, this person should be condemned? Yes or no?
Sir, NIA and ED has framed serious charges against Zakir Naik. Tell me, I want to raise one question. Interpol for thrice rejected India's request for red notice to provisionally arrest Zakir Khan. Why is it so?
Look at Zakir Naik, viewers. This man today is doubting.
We have law and
let's
order.
play out all those. Let's play out.
Love for Zakir Naik.
Yes,
I said for the Indian law.
That's why.
Love for Zakir Naik.
That's why there is a hashtag that says today's slam Zakir lovers. We have one on this particular show who gives him all the benefit of doubt, viewers.
No, sir.
All of it. Now, I hope it is not because of what Sai Deepak has said.
And you know,
that you actually, yes, Karan Verma.
Rahul,
yes.
one small point.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
You know, the Islamic Research Foundation has regularly been a donor to the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation also. They've donated to Congress, they've donated to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. So there have been, you know, a lot of interests matching as far as Zakir Naik and Congress is concerned. Digvijay Singh has graced the stage time and again. And Zakir Naik could get away all these statements
I'll tell you why.
Congress rule.
I just want to, if you prove to me that Shri Ganesh is Bhagwan, you know, one second, aap badi baatein karte hain, sir. Khan Saab, now listen to this. Zakir Naik says, if you prove to me that Shri Ganesh is Bhagwan, then I will eat the prasad. And if your Bhagwan cannot recognize his own son, how will he recognize me if I fall into any difficulty? This is what this man has said. Now imagine on this show,
sir,
if the position, one second. Khan Saab, 1 second. If someone says this in the reverse, viewers, can you imagine the hell that will break loose here? Sai Deepak, can we imagine that? And why do we have different standards for different individuals and their sensitivities?
See, of all the people on this particular panel, I appreciate the conviction of Mr. Rasheed Khan, and I appreciate the lengths at which Dr. Atikur Rahman is doing his best to undo the damage of people like Dr. Rasheed Khan. I don't think Dr. Atikur Rahman is going to ever succeed. Although I should say, compared to his own previous positions, he has mellowed down significantly, so I respect and I welcome that particular mellowing down. But the fact of the matter is, how are people going to defend the thousands and lakhs of people who consume the material and the content put out by Zakir Naik? Zakir Naik is not alone. He is merely a representative of a particular mindset. So if you really want to say that he is alone or that he's in a minority in a particular community, you will have to answer for the mass gatherings that he manages to muster and the kind of sway that he has over significant and vast swathes of this particular community. How are we going to address this particular elephant in the room? That's a question we need to answer. Because there's no point in simply going after a man without asking whether he could have reached the position which he has without the support, endorsement, approval and clear approval of people like Mr. Rasheed Khan, which was on public display today. So what are we really beating around the bush for? I don't understand. Let us deal with the issue, which is there is a particular problem with this particular mindset. You can add the adjective radical or you may choose not to add to it, but the problem nevertheless exists. How do you wish to address it is up to you. Qatar has effectively cocked the snoop at the Vishwaguru aspirations of Bharatiya state. Now, how do you wish to deal with it? Do you wish to reciprocate? The choice is yours.
Absolutely. Viewers, Al Jazeera channel, from Qatar, that actually lectures constantly through its anchors, etc., India about diversity and tolerance, etc., should today take a position. They should take a position and call out their own sponsor, their own country's government, for giving a stage to Zakir Naik. They should hold a debate as to why hundreds and thousands of people are appearing on a stage where Zakir Naik performs his so-called miracles, twisting the minds of the youth, of the world viewers, of the world. That's the question. If they don't, viewers, don't watch these channels. Stop it. For the record, let's just listen in to why we're upset with Zakir Naik, what he says, how he says it, to who he says it. Listen once again before we move on to the next story.
But there are other scholars like Sheikh Salman Auda, he is mashallah one of the great scholars of this time. He says that if under normal circumstances it's haram. But if the situation demands, like in Palestine, every day they are being killed and thousands are being killed throughout the year. So it is rather that they have to fight in self-defense, and if they know that they use an attack in which the chances of dying are there, and if they really cause a damage to the opponent, as a last resort, with guidance from a scholar who has not that one individual person gets up in the night and says, okay, fine, I'll go out. So with guidance of the Quran and Sunnah, as a last resort, it can be used. As a last resort, it can be used, and I do agree with Sheikh Salman Auda. Hope that answers the question.
सिर्फ एक ही सही दिन है, वो है इस्लाम। और अल्लाह ताला फरमाते हैं सूरह इमरान सूरह नंबर 3 आयत नंबर 85 में क्या इस्लाम के अलावा कोई भी दिगर मज़हब अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला कबूल नहीं करेंगे। तो दीन के मामले में हम जानते हैं इस्लाम ही सिर्फ सही दीन है, इसीलिए हम दूसरे दीन का प्रोपगेशन अलाउ नहीं करते। जहां तक कि दूसरा सवाल है कि हम चर्च बनाने देंगे या टेम्पल बनाने देंगे, जब दीन ही गलत है और चर्च में ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम को पूजना गलत है, बुत परस्ती गलत है, इसीलिए हम गलत चीज हमारे मुल्क में अलाउ नहीं करेंगे।